give you the headline, Paddy.
Which is?
Competitiveness. I think that's the biggest difference tonight. I think we expected to be able to dominate the game on the ball, because that's also what we see from Sheffield. It's not that important for them to have the ball a lot, so we expected that. But I think the biggest difference was taking care of the moments where you're in and around the box, creating good chances. Like I said, being able to compete in those moments, really get your body in and create something out of it. Because I think first half we are in many good situations, we have many good opportunities, but we don't take care of them.
So I mean, that's broadly the whole performance rather than just the actual 2 goals in terms of that competitive edge?
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Of course, after the goal, they get a little on top. I think start of second half is actually okay for us again. We know that in some moments we have to be careful about conceding too many corner kicks against a team like them, but I think we dealt with them all right. And then it's then still just at the end of a corner kick we concede a penalty, which is just, if you do that away from home in a place like this, then it's going to be too difficult. So we have to avoid that, and we have to be able to get rid of those mistakes that just changes the game picture, because I think we have to be able to avoid them. I don't think it was necessary for us to do it today. Also the first goal, it's not necessary for us to do it. I think we had a good rhythm to begin with, a good flow, but also have to be able to recognize sometimes to be a little bit more direct in our approach, so we don't do the same over and over again. But yeah, I think it's those small details that decided today.
Well, is that just the learning curve you're on? We've seen it with your team, your performances. You know, a lot of good things, but just those individual moments where you make that decision.
And probably also the difference why we are 11th in the standings, and they are up there as number 1 after today, right? That is the details, because I think, with all due respect, I think Sheffield is a good team. I don't think that the difference is that big, but I think in those critical moments the difference is big. Whether it's taking the right decision after conceding chances, or whether it's believing that a second ball will drop in a certain area and just anticipate to get in there in the right time and speed up the tempo in the game in the right moments, and which is sometimes down to experience, but of course also down to the individuals, that they are able to compete and they're able to fight for those moments.
I mean, would it be right saying I just sense there's a little bit of frustration because you've probably seen a lot of good elements in that performance, but again, maybe
I saw too many good elements for us to lose a game like today. We can always lose a game if it's tight and we concede chances and we don't have a game picture like we wanted to. Then of course we can lose it. But today I think we actually had a game picture as we wanted to have, but we didn't take care of the opportunities and moments out there. So I'm frustrated about that, because we have to be able to do better. Then of course they will create chances. They will probably also score goals because they are a top team in the league. We have to expect that and also accept that, but be able to still continue on and do our stuff, because that's probably where I will look the most and see, okay, with all those offensive transitions, with all those situations in and around the box, how can it be that we don't create big enough chances to score goals?
We know your situation in terms of central midfield player availability. Kellen Fisher, how do you think he went in the 3 today?
I think he did what he could. I think there was difficult moments for him, and I think there was better moments for him. And I think for a young player just to step in on a midfield position away from home in this league is always difficult. But I think he did exactly what I could expect that he will do in a game like today.
And the thing is, with him, we know he's technically very good. He's comfortable in them positions, receiving the ball, and you can see that, particularly in the better spells for your team.
Yeah, I think him and Kenny and the combination between Emiliano and Ben did well to find the right spaces and find the right rhythm in the game. Sometimes to slow it down, sometimes to accelerate it. So I think that part of the game was fine enough. But I think for Kellen and all the other players, when it was about to be decided, we needed those last 10% to be able to do it.
I mean, you said very clearly yesterday it would be a very young bench, and you wasn't wrong about that.
Nobody was young.
I mean, in your whole career, have you ever had to go to that degree of?
Yeah, I was under 17 coach one time.
Not at senior level, when you was at Deutschland.
Yeah, probably close to, because that was the strategy of the club that I come from. But it's not on purpose that we look like this today, and that's how the situation is for now. We try to look at it with opportunities instead of the negative about it. Of course, there's some injuries, there's some suspensions, and we know that probably in 4 or 5 weeks' time it will look different again. But it will probably also be a game like tonight where we remember that Lucian got his first minutes for the first team, and Elliot got his championship debut. And my expectations is that they will be a big part of the team in the future. And in 6 months' time, when they do well, we can probably look back at this game and say, okay, this was the first one for them. This is where they started to get experience.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Mahovo particularly as well. I mean, he's just recently got a new contract. Clearly, it's safe to say he's a player you like and I think can be part of what you're trying to build here.
Yeah, I like him. He's very calm on the ball, and he also has this, which is like this eager to go forward, this eager to create opportunities, create chances. I think, what did he get tonight? 25 minutes, something like that. I think within those 25 minutes, you could see that he was actually, he wanted to go forward. He wanted to create some crossing opportunities. He had one good cross from the side where we just need the player in the box to get first on it. So I think from what I've seen so far from him, I like his approach, I like his attitude, and I will not create too many expectations about him because he's still very, very young, and he needs to get used to this league, and it will probably take some time, so there will probably be mistakes during the way, but I think he's definitely a player for the future.
But is this what it could be about today? Is that you'll go away now and you'll think, well, maybe him and maybe Elliot are maybe a little bit closer than I might have thought to your first team picture moving forward now?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say when we have our midfielders available again, they will probably take a step back and have to accept that they will be in and around the squad when we do that team selection. But for now, if I was Elliot and if I was Lucian, I'll make sure that when I show up in the building tomorrow in Norwich, that I will do everything I possibly can to get minutes again when we go to Ellen Road in a couple of days. Because that's now the chance is there. Now the chance is for them to show what they can do and show the team and the coaching staff and the club what they can do. And it's a fantastic situation to be in as a young player. So when you're young, it's about taking the opportunities, and it's probably now.
More of a Johannes no called over today. What can you tell us?
He felt pain in his knee, and we decided to give him an injection. So unfortunately, we've seen it before, and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was after the first national trip with Panama that he came back home and felt something in his knee, and we have scanned it a couple of times, and we can see that there's something. It's not too serious, and he can play and he can train, but after the game, what was that? That was the Brighton game. He felt pain again, and he couldn't really train, and we decided to give him an injection, and probably he'll be ready within a couple of weeks. But Leeds is too early.
Does that not go back to talking to Leeds? I mean, he did something originally in that Leeds game. Is it we're talking the same knee basically?
Yeah.
So I mean, is it a case that you just have to monitor that now and see how it settles down? Because if it's recurring, clearly there's something there you might have to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, I think if we really pushed him, he could play. But it's also there's a fine balance that where when he feels pain, how much should we actually do? Should we actually take him off and give him some rest and make sure that we don't do anything that can make it even more serious and even more painful for him? Because it's not ideal to play with too much pain. I think every football player wakes up in the morning and feels just a little bit of pain, and sometimes a coach can also feel a little bit of pain when he wakes up in the morning. That's a part of the game, but that you have to get on with. But if it's too much, then at some point you need to take a step back and solve it.
Final for me. I mean, you said I think after Brighton that maybe Sargent couldn't start both of these two games. Can we take it that from your selection today, he's probably going to be in with a good chance at Leeds?
I can give you that he will start within one of the next 2 games.
From here.
From here.